GM, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Beyond PFPs brought to you by OSPN, the Open Source People's Network. This podcast is in partnership with the Rari Foundation, the DAO behind the Rarible protocol and the Rari chain. The Rari chain, which recently launched, introduces a platform with embedded royalties, low transaction fees, and high transaction speed. It's designed to support creators and developers in the NFT space, ensuring fair compensation and broadening the potential for NFT applications. Now, Beyond PFPs is a podcast that is all about exploring the depth of NFTs beyond digital collectibles, highlighting their impact within various industries. Today, we're discussing how Web3 will be used to disrupt the educational system. We're here with Megan Miao, a core member of OpenCampus and APU, and we also have Ornella with us as well, a core member of Bankless Academy. Really glad to have you guys on for an episode of Beyond PFPs.
Thanks for having us.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, thank you.
So, Megan, what led you to become a Web3 educator, and what was your experience during the first year you joined the crypto space?
That's a great question. You know what? Long before I was a Web3 educator, I was just a straight up boring educator. So I started my career actually as an art teacher. And, that was like the first 7 years of my professional life, really spent, as an art teacher in a public school with students kind of going through their A levels. And I think the thing that's always driven me is like being in areas of education that are currently underserved. So art is one such area, a lot of government institutions and educational institutions not necessarily understanding the value of art has also led to it being kind of devalued. And, when I kind of joined the Web3 space and started understanding it through my work with Open Campus, I was like, hey, this is also a pretty underserved area of knowledge, right? We're seeing so many new developments. We're seeing, so many builders, so many new technologies and ideas and new organizational structures popping up. But not enough people thinking about, hey, how do you connect the present with the future? How do you educate people so that they can participate, and build this future together? So, I'm actually originally from an organization called New Campus. We play in the Southeast Asian space with startups, helping startups to develop their people, their teams, their culture. I just want to first put it out there, the New Campus is a separate entity from Open Campus, but we are strategic partners. So we kind of got to know each other last year, and we realized that there was this shared common ground because the startups that we had been working with, are very fast growing. They've got culture that's constantly shifting. And in the Web3 space, that's something that we're finding as well, right? Things are changing very, very fast. People are kind of sometimes struggling to keep up, struggling to make clarity and to make sense of new developments. So yeah, Jaris, you asked about, what's the experience like, as a Web3 educator. I would say that, to be honest, from the very beginning, I found, there was so much information, some difficulties in making sense of it. I really, really appreciate the work of anyone who's trying to make things clearer for kind of new Web3 noobs like myself. And I think that's why I'm really excited to also hear about Ornella's journey actually in Bankless Academy and more. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, excited to hear about Ornella as well and to see how she got involved within the Bankless ecosystem and what inspired her to become a co-creator of Bankless Academy. Yeah, and just appreciate what you guys do for the space because, like, let's say like a family member or friend asked me about crypto. Once you like bring them down a rabbit hole and you start talking about one aspect of crypto, then you realize you have to explain every aspect of it because it's like every part of it is a nuance. Like when you start and say, well, first thing, like when they talk about crypto to me, they'll say, I just created a Robinhood account and I got some crypto. And you got to let them know, well, technically that's not crypto because you don't own it. Then you have to explain private keys, and then you have to explain the difference between hardware wallets and hot wallets. And it's just nice that like instead of just getting a crash course from a family member during like a cookout or something like that, instead they could go to like a professional, Web3 educational platform and get spoon fed the content in a way where they could understand it and grasp it a bit better than just getting bombarded with a bunch of information at once that they're probably not going to utilize immediately anyway. But Ornella, yeah, I would love to hear about what got you into the space, what inspired you to become an educator, and what led you to becoming a core member of Bankless Academy.
Absolutely. First, yeah, just want to say thank you for putting up this space and for connecting us with Megan, because it's super interesting to hear her story, how she, being always an educator, which she says boring, but it's not boring. It's so important as well. Like, please
Mhm.
continue. But it's also good that you now came to this side of the story, more towards, these innovative technologies. And yeah, we need thousands and thousands of educators everywhere, all around the world in different languages. So the more, the merrier. Awesome story. Yeah, so quickly on my end, I say, well, my skill set comes from marketing, branding, uh, yeah, partnerships in different fields. I've done that for science. I was 10 years in the music industry. The pandemic was a turning point where I started to, investigate more about cryptocurrencies. I first started curious about investing. How can I do this, and found a little bit of friction, or maybe, yeah, more than a little bit of friction with the local, banks and authorities. It was like, okay, there must be something more. I started learning about cryptocurrencies. Then, yeah, trading was like, no, not good. Yeah, this can't be it. And
Mhm.
thankfully, I learned about decentralized communities and decentralized work, which really caught my attention. I got deep into the Bankless DAO ecosystem, which, yeah, revolves around the Bankless value, which means like being responsible for your digital assets, for your digital life. And basically, through that, by participating in the DAO ecosystem, I met Didier and Tetronome, who are my colleagues in Bankless Academy. They had spin up this project with also another group of contributors at the time. And then the two of them continued the project, and I plugged in because around that same week, I had like my crypto earnings from different like gigs, and contributions to the community. And I got scammed. I did something I didn't. I put my seed phrase where I shouldn't. I
Mhm.
wasn't aware, that like the message wasn't really inside my head, like don't put your seed phrase anywhere. It was a fake MetaMask pop-up that came up, and I put it there, funds gone, and I said, oh, okay, pause here,
Mhm.
this can't be it. I mean, how can people come, and participate in this if it's,
Mhm.
it's very impactful if you lose your funds, like it affects you psychologically in a very strong way. So I said, okay, I will switch 100% to education about this. So coming from a DAO native project, within the Web3 ecosystem itself, I said, yeah, all right, I'll use my skill sets, but to, keep pushing education uh,
Mhm.
forward. And through that, I also learn myself, and whatever I learn, I try to pass to others as much as I can through the application in Bankless Academy, which you can visit online, share with your friends if they ask you about crypto, and also person to person, like one by one. So yeah, it's kind of a long
Mhm.
story, but I think it's important to yeah, set
Mhm.
context, because many people might relate to a part of that and get motivated to learn about blockchain.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, what you said was very motivational. I mean, even with the fact how you like really doubled down on education after you had a poor user experience with the whole like C phrase issue. And so like yeah, I was thinking the other day like when it comes to like onboarding people into crypto for the first time, it's not good enough to just explain what crypto is and the philosophy behind Bitcoin and the max cap of 21 million, and that's what's given its value and this and that. But like the one of the most important things really is operational security, proper OPSEC and Web3, because there are tons of like one of the the worst aspects of crypto is the large amount of scammers in this space. And yeah, there was a issue, there was a an instance where someone was trying to get my seed phrase as well, within my first year in crypto, because I basically brought up a ticket. I brought up a complaint in a community's Discord server, and somebody pretended to be the founder, like made it look as if they were the founder, and put like slash, co-founder in their username, and got the guy's picture and everything. But like he didn't have any role tags on Discord, and then the link that I saw that afterwards, because he sent me to a site and it asked me for my private keys. Lucky enough, at this time, I was already a member at Bankless DAO for quite some time. So, and then consuming Bankless content. So, like, I knew that that was not a normal procedure. But have I not known about the importance of private keys like that, that could have very well been an experience for me. And then, just using blockchain technology is not always the smoothest either. Like, especially like when gas is really low, and then like the incentive is not high enough to process your transaction, like a validator could drop it, and then you could have this drop transaction, or you could have a pending transaction for a long time, and then you have to figure out how to cancel it. And then I was thinking, man, if I was onboarding my family into this, or like my friends, I think they would be highly upset if they had to move a large amount of money around. It's like at this particular time I wanted to make a payment like through Opolis. That's like how I'm able to like work on Web3, get health insurance and stuff. So I'm making my bi-weekly, payment to my LLC. And like since the gas was low, was not having the greatest experience. So just the fact that you guys, focus on educating people that are new to the space is very important. Like a few DAO contributors I met for the first time that still needed to learn how to move crypto out of their MetaMask, like when it comes time to actually use it in real life. So there's levels of education all throughout the space. So I just really appreciate what you guys do. Are you interested in building NFTs that'll disrupt traditional industries? You can get started by using Rarible protocol. It's an open source cross-chain NFT protocol that's community governed. You can check out the code on GitHub and then request an API key at rarible.org. No matter what NFT project you intend on building, Rarible Protocol equips you with the necessary tools to turn your ideas into reality. If you like the fact that the Rarible Protocol is community governed, consider joining the Rari Foundation, which is the DAO behind the protocol. Joining the Rari Foundation offers you the opportunity to help shape the future of NFT infrastructure. If you're looking to engage in governance and vote on key decisions, you can become a delegate by joining community calls and participating on forum, which will boost your reputation and help you earn some voting power through our delegate incentive program. If you'd like to learn more about the community, visit rari.foundation and then join the Discord server and begin joining our calls and making connections with the community. A community that is all about supporting creators. The Rari Foundation demonstrated how much they support NFT creators by creating the Rari chain to make sure that royalties are embedded at the node level, ensuring that creators always receive royalties from secondary sales. By building on Rari Chain, you're safeguarded by a system that respects and protects creator earnings. Learn more about Rari Chain at rarichain.org. With Rari, you're joining a movement focused on decentralized governance, innovation, and creator empowerment. Now, back to the episode. But yeah, just want to understand, like, what's the onboarding experiences like for each of your projects? How could people get involved today? Like, somebody's interested or want to onboard a family member or a friend, but don't necessarily have the time to teach them all the ins and outs of the space. How can they get involved in your guys' projects?
Yeah, actually, I wanted to kind of follow up on that conversation because I think listening to, the two of you guys talking makes me also kind of reflect on the fact that, Web3 education comes in so many different layers. There's one layer that's very crypto specific, very security specific, really about the technical ins and outs. And then kind of as I'm sinking deeper into the Web3 space, there's also that layer that's a lot more about like culture. What are these norms by which people interact with each other? And then there is this further layer about like governance as well. How do people come together to make decisions, right? And that's a whole other thing as well. So I think what's quite interesting about, being in Web3 education and, kind of reflecting on the different projects that I've been involved in as well is that you got to have a starting point, right? I think that's something that's often very overwhelming for new people coming to the space. And it must be acknowledged that people come into the space via different means. Some people come in through finance, some people come in through NFTs, through gaming. Yeah, Jaris, you talked about like the onboarding experience, for OpenCampus, for APU. Maybe I'll start first with explaining a bit more about what we are at OpenCampus. So, OpenCampus is, I think the best way to describe it is like an ecosystem. We're here not specifically in one space and one target audience, but really to build a platform upon which educators can thrive, can connect with each other, can leverage blockchain technology to make new meaning and new opportunities for education. So there's actually quite a few different ways in which people could get involved. We run something called the Open Campus Accelerator. So that's more targeted at educators and education tech founders in the Web2 space, inviting people in, giving them Web3 education, teaching them what blockchain technology means for their businesses. We've also run OC100, which is a content creator focused competition in partnership with Forbes at Web3. And that was really all about recognizing the fact that, hey, key opinion leaders in Twitter, in the online space, is really also doing a whole lot of work to educate people. Our most recent partnership is with ApeCoin DAO. So currently, I'm leading on this initiative called APU, and I'm really excited about that. We've been working with All City from the governance working group of ApeCoin DAO for the last few months and kind of putting together what we see as kind of a key educational layer to the DAO infrastructure. So what I mean by that is, in your traditional world, any kind of organization needs a learning layer, right? It helps people learn about what to do, how to do things. It helps to motivate people, and that's also what we're trying to build right now with APU. So we're still early in the building process. Best way to onboard really is to connect maybe with my Twitter account where I am posting about updates, including some upcoming open calls for people to get involved. So yeah, that's what it's like right now. But yeah, I really wanted to hear actually from Ornella's perspective. From what I hear, Bankless Academy, has a very specific emotion, kind of movement and mission behind it. I would really love to hear how you guys have crafted your onboarding journey.
Thank you. Yeah, lovely to hear yours as well, Megan. I understand also that you tackle a broader scope in terms of also like Web2 educators, which you mentioned. So really important to see also other ecosystems bridging that gap. Yeah, Bankless Academy. So it is a application. It's a decentralized application where you can participate visiting the website and choosing which lesson to start with. We have our essentials curriculum so far, which has Bitcoin basics, wallet basics, blockchain basics, and also Web3 security. So with those 4 courses for now, we're going to add a few more. That would be part of the essentials curriculum. So you can go to the website and like if you literally know absolute zero about blockchain, if you've never heard of it, it's a great place to start. The application is open to anyone. We also have content in different languages. We've translated content. It's still some work in progress, but we have a Bitcoin basics and wallet basics already in Turkish, Japanese, Chinese, Spanish,
Wow.
French. Yeah, for us, it's really, really important to, democratize blockchain education. And despite English being, our common language for everyone to understand each other, right? It's important to try to bring that down to the local people, in different countries. So at least that this time around where we're building this new internet, you can, hop in earlier in the process, so not many people get left behind. So yeah, basically, once you start taking lessons in the application, you can start building your Bankless Explorer profile, which, as mentioned before, means having more ownership, having more confidence to navigate the blockchain space, because all of the, bad things that could happen, get minimized the more that we know, the more that we learn. We, I start doing these on-chain activities at the end of each lesson can help explorers gain that confidence and say, you know what, I'm going to go for the next lesson right now. It's bite-sized content, deep enough to understand the why, so you can continue your journey, but yeah, short enough so that you can like have a dynamic movement through each lesson. So yeah, basically go to the website and also share the app with friends and family. If you see prices go up, everyone will start or might start asking you, hey, how can I buy Bitcoin? Okay, wait.
Mm-hmm.
First, take some lessons here. Then we can continue that step.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Usually when the market is looking good, that's when people want to get involved. Like when we're at a top, So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
love
absolutely.
love that you guys are educating people on how to actually navigate this space, because yeah, it's a lot of things that can go wrong. Obviously, when you're just getting involved for the first time and not used to certain scam setups and whatnot. So like being able to alleviate that or avoid that through your educational series is very important. Can't really stress that enough how important it is. And really wanted to get into this question on like how do you envision Web3 disrupting traditional education in terms of using things like on chain credentials and such? Do you ever think we'll get to a point where an on chain credential is just as valid as like a college degree? Like if you earn a certain type of badge, that signifies that you can do the work at a high level. You don't necessarily have to pay an extraordinary amount of funds by attending a traditional college.
I'd love to
Yeah,
take that. Okay.
yeah, go ahead, Ornella. Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, I would say it's actually happening, slowly, but it's happening. There may be many cases that we may not be aware of, but it's good that we have these conversations so that, we can also understand more about what's going on in other educational environments. I just wanted to share, in our case, organically, there was a professor in the University of The Hague in Holland that they started integrating the lessons of Bankless Academy in their blockchain minor course, the official university
Nice.
course, in a very organic and natural way. And that at that moment, the professor Jamie, he really didn't have like much tools to actually put to practice, like a hands-on approach, with also part of theory. So students actually had to mint the on-chain badge, which serves as proof of knowledge that you took the lesson, that you answered the quizzes, and use that as a proof also within their blockchain minor requirements. So that was an amazing story. We're having more cases like that as well with other institutions slowly, but I think that's key. That's key to moving forward. So to answer your question, I think we'll get there. Important is to we'll have options. So, but yeah, I guess the most important part is to have free options for people to just go and learn.
Mm-hmm.
Permissionless. Yeah, and free of cost.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
I love that. We're also seeing so many, like Ornella, I totally agree with you that, I think it's actually happening already. We think it's really far off into the future. And I think there is a future in which, this becomes a lot more widespread and the use of like verifiable credentials are really going to make a huge impact in terms of like, say, helping displaced individuals who may have like left their educational documentation somewhere and aren't able to access it at a moment. But
Right.
actually, there are quite a few yeah, there's quite a few like companies that we've worked with through Open Campus Accelerator that are essentially partnering with reputable educational institutions, to offer Web3 education. For example, one of our Open Campus Accelerator alumni, HackQuest, is actually going to be in town in Singapore at Nanyang Technological University. I think one of the top like 30 universities globally, and actually partnering together to offer education in Web3. We also
Awesome.
see some other, yeah, we see some other really interesting organizations. I think Own Academy, at 3DAO, just to shout out a few, they're also doing such partnerships with universities. So we see real need, basically, right? And I think like what's really, really exciting is that all of this is also happening against a landscape in which people are questioning, what is the value of a university degree, right? For a long time, the credential itself is important. But actually, what we're seeing institutions shift towards is this idea that education needs to reflect current advances in technology. And therefore, we see, professors like what Ornella citing here, like coming in and being really
Yeah.
excited about bringing that directly into the classroom, right? Like, why wait? Why wait for your students
Yeah.
to graduate and
Mm-hmm.
work?
Mm-hmm.
Why not just do it now? I think my final thought is, Jaris, you asked about what is or how we imagine Web3 disrupting education. I wonder if there's also a converse thought of how is education disrupting Web3 as well, right? Like, what are ways in which educational structures can actually strengthen the kind of progress and new ideas that's currently being done in the Web3 space? And I feel like that's going to be a really interesting symbiotic relationship to watch in the future.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. No, it's a lot that we can learn as well within the Web3 space to make it more efficient. um, and that we can learn from people that have a traditional educational background in computer science, for an example, or that like
Yeah.
really have a good understanding of cryptography, and just love how cryptography could be used in a way to give more opportunities to people, like you said, for
Mm.
displaced individuals that doesn't necessarily have the means or the resources to attend a top of the line college. Then they can get a credential that pretty much holds that same weight, has that merit. It proves that they can do a particular job at a high level. And something I was curious about was, how can people become educators within the platforms that you guys are representing today? Like, let's say somebody wanted to teach a specific course, or like create their own like custom course or something like that. Is that possible? Or like what's the experience for somebody that wants to join the team, like to be on that side of things?
Yeah, you know what? I think in the education space, like it's really an abundance mindset, right? Like there's so many opportunities out there. I think one way is really hopping on a platform like Twitter, or actually even a platform that you might have already have in your real life with friends and family to start the education work. One of the things that we found is that and it's still the case that actually most people access Web3 only through network, right? Jaris, Ornella, you guys talked a lot about like kind of trust issues at kind of like that onboarding stage of the journey. So I would say, there is a great, wonderful thing in starting small. But at the same time, I think for Open Campus, we do have quite a large ecosystem of companies, on which it's pretty easy to onboard yourself as an educator. One of the key partners is actually TinyTap. So they provide a lot of educational content targeted more at children and teenagers, but a lot of educators actually hop on there to provide content. Yeah, Ornella, how about your side with Bankless Academy?
Sure. Yeah, that's great to know. In our case, it is more related to like lesson content.
Mm,
So if you check out the curriculum online, there's like we have the essentials, level one, level two, and we aim to continue providing advanced lessons. Actually, there's like a lot of great technical writers that can transform content into lessons in a more interactive way, like a more fun way to learn. And yeah, we're advancing the platform in a way so that we can have that more advanced content soon as well, as per demand. Because the audience that studies at Bankless Academy could be from like university students or even teenagers up to like crypto OGs that have been in the space for a while, but on that specific topic, because there are like so many rabbit holes in when learning Web3 that they still haven't touched that topic. So like you could never know. You can never say that someone is like advanced enough to know everything.
Mm-hmm.
So that gives the opportunity to like if you are really good at a certain topic, um, whether you like to propose or whether if you see us requesting on our socials, please feel free to reach out and you can become a partner content creator to have a specific lesson or a specific the explorer handbook we call them, which are specific articles. Please feel free to reach out at our Twitter handle Bankless Academy or my personal one Ornella Web3. Happy to discuss. So yeah, a lot of ways to get involved from the content creator side.
Awesome. I love how interactive the Web3 space is, like how simple it is to just get involved in a community and actually like play a core role within it as well. And yeah, just want to know a little bit more about like what what were some of your most satisfyying experiences at each of these platforms, because I know it's a good feeling to actually teach somebody something in a space and actually change their life for the better. I just wonder if there are any like particular experiences or like courses that you offer that you're like most proud of.
You know what? I think the first thing that is quite easy for me to flex and that I am genuinely really proud of is the Open Campus Accelerator. That was a program middle of last year that at the onset it sounded like kind of a crazy idea. Like, why would education tech companies that were doing so well in the Web 2 world, why would they be interested in Web 3? Right? They're so focused on building their businesses. Why open up new opportunities and help them to learn about this whole new different world? But actually, I think over the many cohorts, and right now we are actually in the midst of recruiting for cohort six. So we've got like 50 companies coming through, 50 like incredible founders who just have this heart to build long term. That was really satisfying. Kind of seeing that people in education care about that long term future. That's why they're investing in it. That's why they're loving and really enjoying the process of learning together. I'm going to cheat a little bit as well and actually talk about a second very satisfying thing. So this one's maybe a bit more personal, which is the fact that when we, or for the past many years at New Campus, when we work with people leaders in the Southeast Asian tech landscape, we hear a lot of resistance and feedback. So, a lot of resistance and setback in our processes. So a lot of leaders questioning, hey, why do you need such a long course? Why don't you just have a 2-hour workshop and then magically all our people will be really great at being leaders, you know? So I'm kind of used to hearing that, right? And doing a lot of education work to kind of undo that bias. And it was really quite a breath of fresh air coming into ApeCoin DAO. So even from very early conversations with All City, right? We talked about a long-term program. We talked about the future, something sustainable, and then as we met more DAO members, that same conversation echoed. People wanted to build for the long term. That is really satisfying to me. Not as much having to do with telling people, hey, 2-hour workshops aren't going to make a difference, and people just readily accepting that education needs to be a key part of infrastructure, of building. That's something that's very joyful to me personally.
Mm-hmm. Oh, nice. Very well said. And excited to see that you're gonna build at in the ApeCoin community as well. With ApeU, I'm really excited to understand more about ApeU. We could talk about that in a second as well. But Ornella, I want to get to what are some of your most impactful moments that you had as a Web3 educator? Anything that like really stood out?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I guess to start with, the first case was the same one with the University of The Hague. That kind of was for us as a team was very memorable because it happened organically. There was like no absolute push to it, very natural, and yeah, it kind of made us realize the impact of the work that we are doing. And it was really like an inflection point for us as a team, to keep pursuing and keep building and keep touching, lives at that level of, okay, you are curious. Here's your starting point. And then like you at your pace, in your time, whenever you can, because everyone has their busy lives, right? And if you're trying to add a blockchain skill set on top of all of that you already do, right? Like your 9 to 5 job, probably, right? You're trying to transition your family or university or just, I don't know, some geographical locations don't make it easy for people to kind of, level up by just dedicating time to study. So this self-paced course really helps people kind of do it in the measure that they can when they can, and basically seeing very like a few cases right from different countries, like from Africa, specifically Nigeria, a lot of blockchain movement, a lot of young people learning about blockchain there, countries like South America, Argentina, also, yeah, from many different parts of the world. We've met stories of explorers who have gone through the Bankless Academy courses, and through that, they have been more connected with, as Megan said, like with the more cultural part of Web3, understanding the why, and slowly we can see them like get plugged into communities. So let's say they visited the application, they downloaded their wallet, they started, using the blockchain, started leveling up more courses. Then by just showing up and being active, they have slowly opened up to new worlds, as in, for example, using blockchain for generative purposes, right? Like the whole region movement, which is
Mm-hmm.
very beautiful,
Yeah.
very positive. So
Mm-hmm.
that area kind of spins up. So people started to understand that Bankless Academy is not just like being the financial part. Yeah, that is one thing. It's not the only one. And by being like in the ecosystem, you get connected to other communities. Maybe you want to, yeah, switch your Web2 job to a Web3. Maybe you're a marketer, maybe you're a writer, a creative, or a developer. They're also like gateways to continue the journey. So we're kind of like that first portal for people to get connected, and seeing them like, a year after getting a job, for example, being DevRel. Not that we teach how to be a DevRel, it's like we're the portal, right? To get to those
Mm-hmm.
communities where you can then continue learning how to be a DevRel, for
Yeah.
example. And seeing them like, hey, I just got my first gig, and then I will continue, I don't know, in DevRel University. Stories like that, it just makes you, like really, really happy to see, proud of the project, that it has a real impact in people's lives. So yeah, that's a great part of it.
Yeah, I love hearing you guys' stories of what made you or like what makes you contribute to this sector of the space. Like what makes you particularly proud to be a Web3 educator. So it was really great hearing those stories, and it just had me thinking of why I love this space so much in terms of it being borderless, because it's opened up so many opportunities. You get the right education within this space, and then you have a much higher likelihood of landing a job, or receiving gainful employment, because you're not limited by just your immediate surroundings. Like you have to get a job within a certain radius. Now it's like I've had clients all over the world. Like some of my clients are in Portugal, or clients in Singapore as well. And it's just cool to be able to work with people all across the world and learn and network with them. And that's another thing too, like just being a member of OpenCampus or a member of Bankless Academy or APU is a networking opportunity at the same time, because these people that you're building these friendships with, they're also expanding their network, and then we share each other's network and grow faster together. And yeah, I just think that's a really cool aspect of Web3, and just how open and how, for the most part, the Web3 community is very warm as well as very inviting. So yeah, just appreciate all you guys do on that. And there's a few things I wanted to bring up, like just going a little bit off track from the questions I have here, because there's two things I wanted to get into. I guess we'll get into APU first, and then I wanted to talk about the whole idea of going from degen to regen, like when Ornella brought up the whole regenerative finance type of thing, or like how it's more to crypto than just trading an asset. Like that's like when I talk to family members and friends about crypto, their mindset is, and I understand why, because my mindset was there too when I first joined this space. It was solely on like treating it at like the stock market, or like you're gambling, or like you just trading an asset, and in the hopes of of actually being profitable. But like crypto is way deeper than that. It's an
Yeah.
entirely different, like, once I understood that Bitcoin was like an entirely different financial system. And then Ethereum takes it even further with not only decentralizing transactions, but decentralizing data. Because now you could put any like data point on the Ethereum blockchain, basically decentralizing just about anything you can think of. And so that's what made me want to contribute more to this space, knowing how radical this technology was. But just to get some more context about APU and what's going there, I know that that's like a fairly new partnership, right, between OpenCampus and ApeCoin. So just want to know like what is to be expected from APU. How can people get involved there? Would you be doing things? I know we talked about different aspects of education, like not just like how to use crypto tools, but like how to get involved in governance, how to
Yeah.
participate in a DAO, how to write a proposal. That's something that people could definitely get some education on, receive some help on how to do so efficiently. I've seen a lot of people submit like proposals, but they'd be like just copy and paste instead of like really looking into what the DAO wants and needs and like how they structure their proposals. 'Cause I see a lot of comments from like moderators would say you're missing this part of your proposal and stuff like. It's just I'm just curious to see like at APU, how do you guys teach people how to get involved in the DAO so they have a joyous experience?
Yeah, you know what, Jaris? I think there's something in particular I want to latch on, which is just now you mentioned there's something very radical that's going on. And I think that's the same lens through which we look at APU, right? This is a great time and such an interesting, fascinating DAO to be working with on education as a key pillar. And it is quite radical, right? How do you look at what education looks like for a fully decentralized organization that's constantly educating itself already? One of the analogies that I use is that we want to build something that fits like a glove, not like a backpack, right? It's not going to be additional stuff that no one asked for, that no one needed. So our starting point is really we've spent the past few months talking to community members, a few trends that I've seen popping up. Firstly, kind of defining the role of AIPs, right? Like AIPs are here to be ideas, but also fundamentally they do need to get off the ground and create impact and kind of invest that back into the DAO itself. And we're finding a little bit of a skill gap, and it's quite natural, right? Because outside in the traditional financing space, there are accelerators, there are incubators. Universities are starting all these programs to support early stage ideas, right? And we think that the DAO could do that. And I think there's a lot of existing initiatives. I've met community members who, like take out time off their own days just to talk to aspiring AIP authors, just to look through proposals, give incredibly detailed feedback. And I think the goal here is, how do we bring them together? How do we adopt more of an assets-based approach? How do we cultivate what we're going to be calling AIP coaches, right? Individuals who have their hearts in the right place and who have actually gone through the process before. How do we empower them to be able to carry out mentorship and coaching to incoming AIP authors? So that's kind of a key portion of the program that we're going to be focusing a lot of efforts on. Something that we've learned the past few years at New Campus is that education cannot be extracted from community. Community is a very important part of how people learn and how people achieve ambitious things together. So the very first step that we're doing is that we're pulling together, a highly curated group of AIP coaches. We're going to be supporting them through an induction program, something that allows them to align with each other. What is it that we want to achieve? What are their long-term goals? What does coaching look like in the space? And eventually, 3-4 months down the road, we want to offer what we're also calling the AIP Authors Fellowship, a program in which new aspiring AIP authors can get support along this long journey that they might not have previously conceived of. A lot of people think about AIPs as writing something, putting it on a forum, and then waiting and seeing. But the reality, right, is that, and I can see you laughing, Jaris, because
Mm-hmm.
the reality is that there's such a long process wrapped around it, right? There's coming up with the
Mm-hmm.
GTM strategy, there's considering impact, there is networking, there is getting feedback from people. All of these are soft skills that we hope to be able to build and support around. Yeah.
Oh, awesome! Yeah, I would love to see more DAOs implement, such a working group within their DAO because, yeah, just being able to show people how to navigate within their community, how to draft a proposal correctly, and like what to expect out of that process is very important. And just like how to be like teaching people how to be like high level within governance. That's a new like that's a whole different way, a different style of work, a whole different role that opens up to people that they may not know. Like this, that could actually be a way that they can earn a living in life, where they don't have to do like work a 9 to 5 that they completely hate. Like they can actually do something fulfilling, within this space, whether it's educating people or building a particular tool that'll help a DAO become a bit more efficient, or just moderating conversations, becoming a content creator as well. It just opened up so much different doors, for people. And yeah, I think that's really cool that you guys are teaching people how to write AIPs. I was laughing because I was just thinking about my first experience with helping, well, with writing an AIP. I did it on behalf of another company, and was pretty much just helping them with the entire experience with that. And then people could be impatient as well. They have to understand that DAO
Yeah.
governance is not as fast as they want it to be, especially if it's being critiqued or being reviewed by an entire DAO before it goes to vote. And it just had me thinking, like, that first company was getting a little impatient when it was in the draft phase. But and that was our first time writing it too. Like that was my first time writing the AIP, so I didn't know like everything that went into it. But wrote another one since then. So I did have the experience of writing two AIPs that passed, and would love to teach more people how to write one. At least like I know the exact structure of how to write a proposal. And what I like about the ApeCoin DAO as well, is they bring awareness to people that wrote AIPs, like through the
Yeah.
spaces that happens on ApeComs. Shout out to Lost, for hosting those. And yeah, like it's just it allows you to really connect with the community as well as you're pushing your AIPs. I believe like they do this every Friday. I know they usually host spaces on ApeComs like Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for you to actually get more awareness on your project. And then like that was how I got affiliated with ApeCoin in general, is just through Twitter spaces. Like Vera was cool enough to accept my offer to do a Twitter space, and that's how I got cool with the ApeCoin community. You guys are really just such a warm, friendly community as well. Very inviting, and yeah, you guys. The fact that you're really focusing on teaching people how to get involved and whatnot, I really would like to see other DAOs, adopt that as well, just so people could become more acclimated to the DAO space in general, so they could take those skills elsewhere, even if there's not a particular role that's open for them at a DAO. At least they could take that knowledge to another DAO that is looking for that particular role. But yeah, thank you for giving more clarity about APU and what's to be expected out of that. And then Ornella wanted to touch a bit more upon the whole like regen thing, because like when you get in, like as we're talking about education, and when people come into this space, it's mainly for financial gain, right? Like you coming in this space more from the degen side of things. I know that's how I entered the space. Like I came into this space initially from just lucking out on trading GME kind of early, GameStop, that stock, and following up on Roaring Kitty and what he was saying on Reddit. So got into GME a bit early, but I wanted exposure to more volatile assets. So let me see what this crypto thing is all about. I know it's open 24/7, but I don't know much about it. And then, yeah, so when I came into this space, it was just purely for trading pretty much. And it was new to me. So, of course, like when I got involved in trading and like and coming from the whole like GME side of things, everybody was saying hodl, 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 and stuff like that, and just continue holding on to this token. And oh, not token, but in that case a stock. But like I took that approach to crypto as well when I got into Dogecoin early, and not knowing when to sell it and whatnot, because people are saying it's going to $5, but it's all time high at that particular time was 75 cents, and that was like the time to sell. But like just want to understand like what got you to the regen side of things. I would say like got to that level after joining a DAO, and then seeing how you don't have to necessarily buy crypto to have a to make it in this space. To earn you don't have to buy crypto, like you can earn it, so like that helped like change the way that I viewed the space, especially the reason why I even got involved in the DAO space. Well, not the reason, and I'm gonna share this story too before we go, like how Ornella basically that was my inspiration to join Bankless DAO, and I saw that she received her first allocation of bank token when she made a tweet about it, and that's made me wanted to actually join. But at that particular time, Bitcoin, it was at its all time high. This was around November, December 2021 when I noticed the tweet, and I just started learning how to use indicators, like indicators that I like that was actually working for me when I was doing technical analysis, and I saw that the price of Bitcoin was gonna come tanking because the on balance volume was going lower and lower, but the price is going higher and higher. So I knew it was about a matter of time before this thing. Before the price goes down to shit pretty much, and I wanted to see like what's this DAO thing about, if I could potentially earn a living doing so, because I was not I didn't feel like I was ready to short an asset yet. Like I wasn't ready to like short Bitcoin or anything like that. So like I was new to trading. So I don't think I was ready for derivatives. So I wanted to see like how could you at least earn it. Cause at that time I was too invested. I was just like not just financially but mentally. Like crypto was a lot that I thought about when I got involved, trading it and studying it. So just want to just talk about the whole region side of Web3 for a bit for people that are unfamiliar with it. Like, what is region to you, and how did you get like how did you go from seeking financial gain primarily? Not to say being a region you don't gain financially, but it's just a different approach to it where it's not like you're not like a mercenary about it. Like with region is straight up about the money. But it's curious to see like what's your opinion on region.
Sure, sure. Happy to share on that because I think that's a really big part of the big picture. So we have this amazing technology that was developed under a need for humanity to kind of have a way to coordinate between ourselves in a much better way without so many intermediaries, which in the end, don't allow like a free flow of what we called money, right? Monetary value. Money comes from what we believe has value. So whatever we create, our culture, the way that we do things, the things that we use, how we dress, etc. All of that generates culture, and culture creates the value of money in whatever form this takes. So, being that said, blockchain technology itself has the financial part to it. The goal is obviously for everyone to have freedom to transact, which can help to have a better passing in life because you're like not in survival mode and you can start focusing on things that the human is made for, like to thrive, to connect with each other, to, yeah, just, enjoy this life. And thankfully blockchain technology seeks to help us with that, but it's up to us to kind of learn how to coordinate better and get to that part. So this is where the whole region movement comes in, understanding that technology can help us also regenerate the world, whether it's like by specific activities that we do that might be related to like climate change. There's a lot of DAOs and community groups that focus solely on activities that help the environment, other activities that help social communities, like maybe indigenous communities, like historical ancestral things like that, to keep heritage around each local mini culture. There's also communities that have to do with like housing, or like solar energy, things that are can help humanity have a better relationship with Mother Earth. And just kind of be more holistic and integrated with what we're part of. So same as like fire is a technology, right? Cars are a technology, money is a technology, blockchain as well. Money is part of it, of course, but it's like the means so that, ideally everyone can have a better way in life, and just focus on doing things that they love, that come from their soul, because like everyone has different superpowers. So as like you mentioned, you're good at connecting people. Megan is an amazing educator, right? Like I'm kind of a mix of marketing, education, relationships, things like that, like just connecting people, using our superpowers, with that blockchain layer on top to coordinate, coordinate funding, coordinate activities, coordinate, etc., can help us, have a better, create a very, not just have created, like build around us a better local environment, and also, reach parts of the world that we aren't able to do so, like physically, right? So the whole digital part of like learning online, that's why this is important. And then seeing that impact in real life. So this whole narrative comes, the first time I heard about it was, well, through the Bankless podcast. There was the Green Pill podcast of Kevin Owocki, and he wrote 2 books, Impact DAOs and also Green Pill. There's also Green Pill podcast, so you want to check it out. But that's the first time I heard about this like way of thinking about blockchain technology, and that resonated with me so much that I said, okay, this is it. I'm going to keep learning, trying to spread the word, see if more people can resonate with this so that they can, get integrated. So using these technologies to do generative actions, being the first one, degen style, right? Like, let's try blockchains, let's try here. But in the end, if, I don't know, we can trespass that value to things that bring real physical value in our world, and I think that's the transition, right? Like from region to region.
Mm-hmm. No, that was well said. I mean, when as you were talking, it just had me thinking about a few things, but like one things that came to mind was like the cypherpunk mailing list, and those are like the original collective that pretty much established this space. Some people even speculate that maybe like a few people within that mailing list is responsible for the creation of Bitcoin. Not gonna speculate solely on that, but like there's a few people in there like Nick Szabo, Hal Finney, like they're people that think that they play like such an important role in the creation of Bitcoin. But like it reminded me of their philosophy and why they got involved. They didn't necessarily create Bitcoin to become super rich or created the like even the technology before Bitcoin because they were working on cryptocurrencies since the 90s. Like Nick Szabo was working on Bit Gold, but never understood how to get across like get around the double spending problem. But like they were creating it really to set people free, pretty much. Like where you, like you said, like transact without intermediaries. So just showing how impactful the technology is, and it goes beyond just transactions. Like you can utilize like not just ERC20s, but like NFTs in creative ways as well. You know, within different industries to impact them. And I guess like from the way how I interpret that, like the regen side of things is more like having a deeper understanding of the space and how it can be applied in real life in different areas where it's not just is I guess like if you think about it, because like when people get in, since we talk about education, it's like when people get involved in this space, yeah, they think of it as I'm gonna trade some Bitcoin. Like crypto is like I'm trading like this like 24/7 casino type of thing, but where it's like it's an entirely different system. Like it's a system where the community owns it essentially. It's not something that's owned by like a central government, or you have to answer to a particular corporation. Like this is technology. It's open source technology that's open for all of us to enjoy and utilize like how we see fit. So like being a region is like actually using this technology to better the world, where like crypto, like it's not just currency, it's cryptography, and it gives ownership to certain assets, like in a way that you wouldn't have before, because of all the middlemen. Like what I like about crypto, it just removes the middlemen and make things like truly peer to peer, and then just creating more peer to peer experiences with the underlying technology. It will greatly impact the
Yeah.
world.
We're yet to see what we're, thankfully able to do as humanity, right? Thanks to this technology. We're just building it. We haven't seen yet the maximum potential. So yeah,
Hmm.
be optimistic. Good times are coming. They're here already slowly. There's a lot of things happening in the world that shouldn't be happening in 2024.
Hmm.
But they all come from, lack of this lack of that, could be knowledge, could be, what we call money, territorial disputes, etc. It's always from this lack mindset, right?
Mhm.
Once we understand that there's abundance in everything that we do, there could be abundance in everything that we do. I guess we'll be better off. So any type of region activity is helpful for this new world.
Yeah, most
Yeah.
definitely. Most definitely. Is there anything that you wanted to chime in on? So that you unmuted, Megan. And then,
Yeah.
oh yeah, feel free. Go ahead.
I wanted to just share kind of like one thought listening to this, which is that at the end of the day, like the big goal for any kind of educational effort is to be regenerative, right? Like it is the one action that will always kind of generate new possibilities, new opportunities, and new ways, I think, fundamentally for human beings to connect with each other, to create relationships, to create culture. I think that's something that is really exciting. Being in the space of education, this is one of the oldest industries, right? And any kind of civilization or culture has education as a key component of it, and it's so regenerative because over time it comes back and back again, under different forms with new ideas, but it always kind of contributes to this idea of, hey, there's a new way to do things, and we could go towards that future together.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. No, that was said beautifully. And then one thing about being involved in the Web3 space, like it makes you like you. I know you guys probably heard of this term, but like being a lifelong learner, like because there's so
Yeah.
many things to learn in Web3, and then it like inspires you to learn things out of Web3 as well. Like I didn't really have an interest in like becoming like a full-fledged web developer until getting involved in Web3 and wanted to not just understand the Web3 space better, but just the internet, like just computer, like how computers work. Just really want to understand like exactly like the entire like the all like the entire infrastructure basically. Like and yeah, and it inspired me to learn Python mainly so I could scrape Twitter and understand what's being said on crypto Twitter, to make more sense out of it, give me an advantage when it comes to marketing to see like what's trending in smaller pockets, like what's trending in smaller niches that you're not going to see outlined on Twitter. But if you had access to the raw data, then you can make sense out of it that way. And so, yeah, like just being involved in like just in the crypto industry in general and DAOs, it just made me want to I guess like I was just getting used to just learning something new every day because like
Mm.
in Bankless DAO there's so many different guilds that you can contribute to, and I joined back in 2021, and yeah, like every single time I join a call I'm learning something new, and then just like being set with that mindset, just like open ideas to like let me learn Python. Let me see if I could learn that. That would make me more valuable in this space. And then as people advance and see like I'll be more valuable if I only knew this skill. And then I feel like AI could definitely help a lot in that industry. I'm really interested to see how AI and crypto can come together and see how that will work. But but yeah, I mean, I really could talk to you guys. I could probably go another hour with you guys. I know we are 10 minutes at the top of the hour, but really enjoy this conversation and
Same.
this topic in general. And
Yeah,
yeah, hopefully we create more content together as well. You guys doing any spaces on your end, let me know. Or
of
if there's
course.
any like people in particular you would like to be on, hit me up and see if we can make that connection happen. But any final words from either one of you guys before we close?
All right, I'll go. Yeah, basically, keep that curious mindset, going, that curious spirit. Uh, if you are a crypto OG, then feel free to share Bankless Academy on Twitter, or the direct app link to your friends, family, whoever asks you. It's free, always will be free. So, yeah, it just help us get the word out there. It's, we say that we learn two times, right? As you said, lifelong learner. When we
Mm.
learn a special thing ourselves, and then when we teach others, we continue learning as well. So
Mhm.
that's an awesome part. It's both. So everyone wins, right? And we can spread it out. Yeah, feel free to also reach out to me, Ornella Web3 on Twitter, on Telegram, if yeah, there's anything you'd like to talk about, partnerships, events. We'll be at ETC in Brussels. I'm going to be in ETH Dublin and Blockchain Ireland week next week. And also, as a team, we're looking forward to going to DevCon. So, Megan, if you're at any of those events, it would be great. If not, let's keep in touch. To do something together would be amazing. Yeah, keep learning. Stay curious and keep learning.
I love that, Ornella. And I think one of my fundamental beliefs is that, once you're in the education space, there are bound to be ways to meet each other, beyond just the screen. So I'm really excited for that opportunity. I think, at the end of this conversation, it kind of really brings me back to a memory that's quite special to me from my earlier career as a teacher in a public school. And it was really this student that I had that from the beginning wasn't, she was kind of shy, didn't really take like specific notice of her as a standout student in the entire class. And over the course of 2 years as a form teacher, I I mean, I kind of resonated with that. I wasn't the best student in school either, right? So we just kind of talked a little bit more and more every time. Got to know about the kind of weird little internet hobbies, the kind of forums that she was on, the kind of writing that she was putting out online. And I was always like kind of encouraging her. And I think once she graduated, I kind of forgot about that until actually earlier this year when I was at this event and suddenly we just bumped into each other again. And she told me that it's been years since she graduated. She's now working as a teacher herself, and like that was such
Oh,
a special moment to me. Knowing that firstly I didn't scare anyone off education, right? But also this idea of like, I guess education is fundamentally being something firstly that's regenerative, right? It creates more education in the world, more learning, more lifelong learning. But also this idea, secondly, that education's always future oriented. What you do today doesn't result in something immediate tomorrow. Some of us are very
Mhm.
lucky, sometimes it does result in something overnight, and it's beautiful, right? But most of the time it takes such a long time
yeah.
for the seeds of education to grow into a full-fledged plant. And I think some of the things that we talked about today makes me really, really excited. Our goals with OpenCampus, with APU and ApeCoinDAO are for the long term, right? Like we're here to stay for a long while. This is not a one-time thing. And for anyone who would love to, or who's finding resonance with what we're sharing about, feel free to follow me. There's OpenCampus, which I think is at OpenCampus underscore XYZ. You can also follow me at Meg underscore Miao and kind of learn a bit more about at APU as we continue to build in public. But at the end of the day, I'm just really excited. I feel like these kind of connections and ideas last us for a long time and last us well into the future. And that's something I'm really excited about.
Oh, definitely. I'm
That's
excited
so,
as well.
yeah.
And yeah, looking forward to more spaces with you guys and educating more people and onboarding more people. Next time a family member or friend asks me about crypto, I'll give them a little bit of information. I'll say, look, just if you really want to understand this space, check out Bankless Academy, reach out to Open
Woo.
Campus, APU. That's the best way to really like understand this space as a newcomer. So
Totally.
yeah, I'll definitely
Love
be
that.
sending some people your way.
Awesome. Appreciate that. Thanks for having us, James. Great space, and thanks, for creating these opportunities to discuss, especially when there's so much information around prices and yeah,
Mhm.
let's speak more about the good part of Web3. And great to meet you, Megan, as well. Looking forward to keeping in touch.
Same here, same here. I'm really excited for the future, kind of hearing about just the passions of people in the space. So excited to keep in touch with everyone, excited to hear more. I know that we've got listeners here and probably in the future as well. So just excited to build that relationship with everyone.
Awesome. Yeah,
Definitely.
huge shout out to everyone in the audience there. I see a few friends. Yeah, and for everyone who listens afterward as well.
Yep. Thank you guys. Appreciate you all for showing up. And thank you as well for being amazing guests. I really appreciate you, Ornella. I appreciate you as well, Megan. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Everyone in the audience, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day and everyone have a great weekend as well.